Welcome to another episode of Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator at Frederick County Animal Control. We are going to introduce you to quite a few of our adoptable pets today, and the first guest over here with Tammy is Bella, and she is one of our puppies that's available for adoption. She's an older puppy. She's about 8 months old, and she has a beautiful white and brindle coat. And one of the things that's unique about Bella is that she's a little hard of hearing. We have her down listed as deaf, but we are having a vet come in and check that, and just to verify whether she actually can't hear anything or she just has limited hearing. So we're checking with that. But even just, today when she came out on the set, I was, waiting till she was distracted, making some noise with squeaky toys. She didn't really turn around and take notice. So we're still figuring out kind of what she can and can't hear. But other than that, she's a very sweet dog. She's very attentive. She loves to be petted. She will jump right up in your lap and lick your face. But she is, that being said, a puppy. And puppies have a lot of energy. And she has a lot of things that she still needs to learn. Based on our behavior assessment, she doesn't keep her run and her kennel clean. So she'll need to have someone work with her on house training. When you try to, get her leashed and harnessed up, she comes to the front of the cage pretty quickly because she's excited, but because she is so excited, she can be hard to actually get the leash on her. And then she can be difficult to walk because she pulls hard, she jumps all over stuff, she's just excited. So a little bit of training will go a long way. But she loves to be petted. She doesn't have issues with food aggression. She wasn't interested in the toy that they gave her when they were testing her for object guarding, but she loves all the toys that we have out here for her today. So maybe stuffies and squeakies are the things that she really enjoys playing with. Her previous owner brought her to us because they said they couldn't care for her properly. They didn't have her for very long, so she's not necessarily attached to her name, but she's settled in at the shelter quite quickly. They say that she loves toys, she loves to run, she loves other dogs. So she's going to settle in nicely to any home as long as you're willing to devote the time that's necessary to meet her needs. If you are interested in meeting Bella here, the first step is always going to be to come to the shelter. We are located at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. You can talk to the ladies at the front desk and just ask to meet with Bella. Jasmine is our next guest, and she loves her toys, as we've noticed quite quickly here this morning. She is about 4 years old. She's a hound mix. She has a beautiful black and tan coat, and she came to us because, unfortunately, her owners were moving to care for another relative, and they were unable to take her along. It was something that they were, really upset to do, and they waited until the last possible minute. But since they weren't able to find someone else to care for her, they brought her to us so that we could find her another suitable home. Her owners wrote out, a lot of information about her based on their experiences with her. And they say that she knows basic cues. She knows sit, roll, shake, down. She's very affectionate. She's very sweet. They say that she can be very noisy, not just in the fact that she loves to play with noisy toys, but here in our kennel she does bark because she's a hound dog, and that's what she does. But she's much quieter when she's outside running and playing and things like that. It says that she does get along with other dogs, but she's also previously lived with a cat. So if you have a cat at home and are looking to add a dog, she would be a good choice based on her previous experiences. They also said that she doesn't like to go swimming, but she does love to play in the snow. She actually was brought to us wearing this bandana, and they say that she really likes to wear, fancy things. She likes to have her nails painted, and she likes to wear sweaters. But she can be a little nervous around new people sometimes. So they wrote a lot of information which is going to be good for any potential owner to see, any potential adopter, so that they can have a good idea of what they're getting themselves into. When we did our behavior assessment for Jasmine, we found that she does not really keep her kennel clean, so she's definitely going to need a refresher in house training. She's very friendly. She can be a little mouthy when she gets excited, and what we've seen here is that she doesn't like when the other dogs bark at her. So if they initiate something, she's going to do a little smack talk back, if you will. She doesn't have issues with food aggression. She willingly gives up toys, and she loves to be petted. So she's going to be a good fit, but she does have, with a lot of different homes, but she does have some things that she needs to work on. Hound dogs typically don't do well in apartments because they do bay and bark. And they also like to be outside and run and play and things like that. So a home with a yard where she's going to get outside a little bit more would probably be beneficial for her.
Got a hairball. Come here. You all right?
Our next guest is a little bit older. She is a senior at 8 years old, and she is a lab mix, and her name is Coco. And unfortunately, Coco is one of many animals that we've seen come in recently because the circumstances have changed for their owners, and their owners are struggling to find a place to live. So they're unable to keep their pets with them as they look for housing for themselves. So they brought Coco to us so that we could now find her another home where she can spend her golden years. Coco does know some basic cues. She knows sit, she knows paw, and she is got the sweetest temperament. She does have some things that we are working on with her medically right now. Her dew claws were kind of overgrown, and they were poking into her feet, and they were a little bit infected there. So she's getting treated for that, and she has some other little skin type issues that we are working to treat, and all of that is going to be listed in her medical and behavioral profile, which we would ask you to read before you were able to visit with Coco. Seniors here at the shelter get adopted with a senior discount. So because she falls between the ages of 5 and 9, she would go home for a $20 reduction in her adoption fee. So instead of being $92.50, she would go home for $72.50. We make sure that they get vetted while they're here. We make sure that they're current on their rabies vaccine, the distemper, bordetella vaccines. We deworm the animals. We make sure that they get microchipped. We give them flea and tick preventative. We also provide you with a free well visit to the vet, your county license, so you really can't beat all that you're going to get for that adoption fee. Another important health note for Miss Coco is that she is Lyme positive. We get a lot of Lyme positive dogs here. If you're concerned about that, you want to check with your vet to make sure that you're able to provide the appropriate care for a dog that has that condition. But otherwise, she is an amazing dog. She's super responsive when you walk by her kennel. She does need some work on some refreshers, some house training, things like that. But she's a sweet dog who just needs a second chance at a forever home. If you want to provide that for her, stop in and visit with her. We are open to the public Monday through Saturday. The kennel hours are going to be on Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays from 10 to 5, Wednesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 8, and on Saturdays from 10 to 4. Our next guests are a pair of brothers. They are Banjo and Bayou. Banjo is over there with Tammy, and he has the red bandana on. And then this guy with the blue collar is Bayou. And they look very different from how they looked just a few days ago. They were recently groomed by a volunteer who comes in, and she has a dog grooming business. And so she volunteers her time, and she actually recently bathed and shaved down 3 of our dogs, and we want to say thank you to Amy from Classy Cuts Mobile Grooming for doing that for us. And she actually named these guys because they didn't have names yet, and so she gave them the names Banjo and Bayou. These guys are Pomeranian mixes, and they are not housed. They are not housed together. They like to play together, they enjoy each other's company, but they do not like to be together in confined spaces. So we've separated them and put them in different kennels. They kind of pick on each other just like any siblings would do when they're stuck together. They could be adopted as a pair as long as you have a home where they could have space independent of one another, or they could be adopted separately. They are not bonded like some of the other dogs on our adoption floor right now. They look like puppies, but they are actually 2 to 3 years old, and they are very, very shy. When you get them out of their kennels, sometimes they are more kind of playful, but because they have that shyness in them, we are only adopting them to a home where the children are ages 13 and up. So they understand their needs and their shyness. Sometimes, in fact, they will shake, and I had to actually carry them out to the play yard the other day to take their pictures because they were so scared with all of the noises and things that were going on at the shelter at that time. But once they get to know you, they're very, very sweet. And if you take them out into the play yard in an environment where they're more accustomed to being, they love to run around and play. They like to sit in the grass and smile at you. They're just a whole different side of them. If you're interested in taking one or both of these guys home, obviously you want to stop in and visit with them. We are open to the public 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, and their adoption fees would be $92.50 a piece. Our next guest and our final dog for the day is Asia, and she's been on the show before, but she's still looking for her forever home, so we want to give her another opportunity to shine here on Pet Pals. Asia is actually our longest dog resident and one of our longest residents, period, here at the shelter. She arrived here in November, and because she was part of a neglect case, we were unable to, show her to people, things like that, because she wasn't technically ours yet. We did not own her as we would many of the animals that are surrendered to us. But she's been on the adoption floor for a couple of months now, and when I say adoption floor, I mean she's been available for adoption. Asia is a little shy, so the adoption floor is a very scary place for her. So we have a quiet room set up, and that's where she lives. And she's available to meet potential adopters by appointment, so we can set that up in a way that she will be comfortable with. Sometimes it takes Asia a little while to warm up to people. However, there's a lot of people here today observing the show, and she did really, really well with them, especially in a new environment. Once you get to know Asia, she's all about her silly smile and her wiggle and lots and lots of kisses. She loves to play. She play bows, and she likes to box, as all boxers do. She likes to pounce and run the fence with you. She also enjoys nice belly rubs and head rubs, and she will definitely just smother you with kisses once she gets to know you. But it does take a little time. Asia needs a family who is going to be very patient with her. Just hearing the click of a camera, I saw her kind of recoil a little bit. So she's going to need someone who has more of a quiet home. We are asking that she go to a home where there are no children, just an adult-only home. She also prefers to be the only dog in the home. She has previously lived with other animals. If you have cats or things like that, that's okay. She just needs to be the only dog so she can get all of your attention. Asia is one of our diamonds in the rough this month. Colonial Jewelers is sponsoring a portion of her adoption fee, and she's also a senior at 5 to 6 years old. So she would go home for a $40 reduction in her adoption fee if you were to come in and inquire and put in an application for her this month, making her $52.50 during the month of July. We hope that you were excited to meet some of the many dogs that are on our adoption floor right now. If you stay tuned after the break, we're going to introduce you to some of our felines that are looking for fantastic new homes here at Frederick County Animal Control.
Many volunteer opportunities are available on Frederick County boards and commissions, whether the Commission on Aging, Human Relations Commission, the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, Workforce Development Board, or many others. Those desiring to serve must be residents and registered voters of Frederick County. For more information, contact Joyce Grosnickel at 301-600-1102 or by email at fcgboards@frederickcountymd.gov.
Welcome back. Our first feline that we have for you today is Fabian, and Fabian is one of our longtime cat residents. She's been with us since April 10th, and unfortunately, she just keeps getting overlooked, which is surprising to most of us here at the shelter because there is not a single cat on the adoption floor that loves attention more than Fabian does. She asks for it. She's actually in our greeter cage, which is the first cage, the first cat that you see when you walk in, and she cons every volunteer into thinking she's not gotten any attention so that they all sit with her all day so that she just gets loved on. She's what we call a blue card cat, meaning she adjusts very well to new situations. She wasn't difficult to handle when they were, vet checking her, and she adores attention. She reaches out and asks for it. She will tell you that she wants it. She also has a bit of a big personality. She has a little sass to her as well. She gets hangry in the morning, but she's also a picky eater. And because she orders off the menu, sometimes she has to wait till the last to be served. So she gets upset about that. She can also be a little bit jealous. She's in a situation where when someone stops petting her and starts petting another cat, then she wants them to go back to her. In a house, that might be different because you have more mobility. You can pet two cats at the same time. But here, that's not really possible. So she does get a little bit jealous. And that might have been one of the things that brought her here in the first place. Her owner only had her for about 3 months and said she was aggressive to cats. Now, I haven't seen necessarily any aggressive behavior from her. I haven't seen her hissing at the other cats or anything like that. So I don't know, without being there, I don't know if it was actually aggressive. It does take some cats longer than others to adjust to being in a new environment. Cats have to learn, their hierarchy, who's in charge in the house. And sometimes that means they're going to swat it out a little bit, and that's okay. They have to figure those things out on their own. And it could also just be that she was talking to her or playing with her. So if you're not cat savvy, you don't necessarily know. So I don't want to dissuade people who have a cat already from taking Fabian home, especially if they have a large enough space and there's multiple people in the house, to make sure that she can get away from the other cat and she's also going to get plenty of attention. But it's possible that she might do better as an only cat so that she can be the apple of your eye, the sole recipient of all of your attention. Luna is one of our super sweet and also very shy cats. She came into the shelter originally back in April with 3 little kittens, and then she was placed in a foster home with her kittens. As is the usual case here, the kittens get adopted very quickly when they come back to the shelter. And unfortunately, their older, adult moms hang out for much longer. So she's still looking for her special forever home. She's about 2 years old. She's, weighing in at about 6 pounds, 3 ounces. So she is a very petite little girl. She's a forever kitten when you look at that face. She definitely has that look that just screams super sweet kitten. But the benefit of the fact that she has that baby face but is an older cat is that she's not going to behave like a kitten. She wants to cuddle and be petted and loved on, and she's much more quiet. She's not running all over the place and climbing your curtains and doing all of those things. So she's definitely got a lot of good things going for her. Some of the things that aren't going for her as well right now are the fact that she is not a kitten and it's kitten season and a lot of people want those kittens, and the fact that she's a little bit shyer, so she's not going to come out and necessarily ask for attention. She likes to hang out in her little princess bed that she's got right now, but if you go in and interact with her, she's perfectly accepting and loves the attention that she gets. She will be going home, as we've already said, for $15.50 this month. She was previously living with cats and dogs in her foster home. I know that there are other cats that live there, so she's used to that. She's been around children and men. She's able to be handled. She likes affection. Her previous owner said that she likes a gentle voice baby talk, and I can really see that about her. So somebody that's got a gentleness and a quietness would probably be better suited to her. A home with a lot of super loud kids might not be what she would enjoy and be most comfortable with. If you think that your home sounds like a good fit for Miss Luna, you can stop in and visit with her here at the shelter. If you wanted to verify whether she was still available before you made the trip in, you can always call the shelter number. It is 301-600-1546 and inquire about Luna the cat. Joe is our next guest, and he is one of our shy kind of tomcats. I mean, how could you not look at his face with those big cheeks and those big eyes and that pink little nose and just not fall in love? He's so sweet. He's a little scared right now because he's in a new place and he had to go in the car in the cat carrier, and there's the air vent blowing on him. But in his cage, he's pretty relaxed. He likes to snooze and take little cat naps, but he's starting to get more comfortable living in the shelter environment. So he's coming to the front of his cage a little bit more, asking for more attention. He has a lot of potential. He just needs someone, again, to understand that new situations are a little scary. There's, in a home environment, he might be completely different than he is here because the shelter is a very stressful environment. So when he's in a home, he might be a little bit less shy, scared, but he just needs someone who's willing to be slow and take a little time and patience with him. He was brought to us because his previous owners who had him for 3 years said they could no longer care for him. They said that he's playful, energetic, and independent. They made no mention of him being previously shy, so it could just be something having to do with living in the shelter environment. He is not yet neutered, but will be neutered before we sent him off to his new family. He's already been rabies vaccinated. He's had his distemper vaccine. We've dewormed him, given him flea and tick preventative. We've gone ahead and microchipped him as well. And we also test all of our cats and kittens for feline leukemia and feline AIDS. And Joe, of course, tested negative for that. So what you're getting for that $15.50 this month is amazing. You're getting all of that same vet care and all of those preventatives and things like that, as well as a free well visit to the vet, your county license, for $15.50. You really just can't beat it. Even at our normal adoption fee, getting an animal spayed or neutered is going to cost more than that $97.50. So Joe here will be fully taken care of. We do ask that you, of course, have him seen by a vet when you get him home. We usually say 7 to 10 days just to check and make sure that he hasn't caught any illnesses while he was here, the most common being an upper respiratory infection or a kitty cold. Make sure his neuter incision is healing nicely, things like that. But Joe is a very handsome guy. He just is looking for a family to come in and see what sets him apart from the crowd and want to take him home and make him their newest forever furry friend. So if you want to be that family, stop in and visit with Joe. Just ask the ladies at our front desk if you could read Joe's profile, and then somebody will be happy to let you visit with him outside of his cage. Next, we have a pair for you. They're not technically bonded, but we kind of think of them as that way. They are a better together set. We'd really like to see them be adopted together. They are brothers, and over there on Tammy's lap is Bucky, and over here with me is Cap. And when they came in as strays, they were just so chill. They actually came in a laundry basket, just hanging out, not really trying to get out or anything like that. They're just very kind of calm, cool, relaxed guys. Bucky is a little bit less confident. He can be a little more anxious in new situations, but he's also the most playful of the two. Cap is a little bit more reserved, but he's also kind of the most confident. When I took them out to an event, I noticed that they were, the way we set up our cages is we put one cat cage on one end of the table, the other cat cage on the other end, and then in the middle we put all of our brochures and things. And when I had them like that, Bucky was very kind of upset and anxious, and I moved the stuff and put their cages next to each other, and as soon as he was close to his brother, he felt much more relaxed and he instantly calmed down, which is how we knew that they would be better as a set. These guys, while they love to play and they can be independent, they also love attention. And I've noticed recently, since they moved into the kitty cabana, they are in the transition cage, and it has 2 doors, and if you open the one door, they come to the bottom of it and kind of reach up like they want you to lift them out like a baby from the crib, and then you pick them up and you can cuddle them like babies, and they instantly purr, both of them. They love to be held. You can carry them around. They're happy sitting on laps right now. So they really are, they kind of provide the best of both things. They turned a year old while they were here with us. So they're still very young, but their personalities are much more established. So they have that kitten aspect to them. They're still very playful. There are a couple of bachelors. They make a mess in their cage, let me tell you. But they, you know what you're getting with them. You know that they want to cuddle and they like to be held and they're quick to purr. When you're getting those 3-month-old kittens, you really don't know how they're going to be when they get to be a year old. So if you're looking for 2 kind of cats that love to cuddle and play with one another, that are going to want to cuddle and play with you, then Bucky and Cap are excellent choices. And you could get both of them for, you know, just about $30 this month. So you really can't beat all the love and affection and the lifetime of, you know, friendship that you're going to get if you were to take these guys home. The last cat we wanted to introduce you to today is Smoke. He is actually Smoke number 2 because we have 2 of those on the floor right now. And he is just a really nice older gentleman. Like, a gentleman seems like a good word to describe him. He does have that tipped ear, so it's possible that he was a stray at one point, but he is so sweet. He just wants to cuddle on your lap. He keeps to himself a lot, so he unfortunately gets overlooked because he's, you know, that gray color just kind of blends in with our stainless steel cages, and he just kind of sits in his bed and relaxes. And then when he saw me coming to get him out of his cage, he was like, oh, someone's here to visit. He came right down right to the front of his cage and wanted to be handled. He likes to be picked up. He likes to sit on laps. He's definitely a bit of a cuddle bug. He does not like going into a cat carrier, although most cats don't enjoy that. He's about 8 to 9 years old, so you know, he's an older than most of the cats on the adoption floor, but in the sense that cats can live to be anywhere from 10 to 20 years old, he's really just at his halfway mark, you know, and he has a lot of life left to live, and he just needs a nice, loving home to cuddle up in. He was brought to us back in May when somebody, it seems, based on this information, took him in because the owner didn't want him. And then they kept him either they kept him a week or we filled this out and just said the owner didn't want. So it's kind of hard to give the exact explanation of what his circumstances were, but they did tell us that he's very sweet. He's afraid of dogs, so if you have a dog in your home, then he might not be the best fit for you if you're looking to add a feline. He's calm, friendly, you're able to handle him, and he's a lap cat. And those are definitely all ways that we can describe him here, even in this stressful environment. If you were to visit with him and put in that application during the month of July, he would of course go home for that $15.50. But if you were to come in August and decide that you want to make Smoke part of your family, he would still go home for a reduced adoption fee because he is a senior at 8 to 9 years old. If you didn't see something on the show, please continue to stop in because we only show you a portion of what's available here for adoption, and you might see the one that's the right one for you out on our adoption floor. We thank you for watching, and we hope that you'll tune in again next week.